What is up, everybody? Yes, we are back. Hockey's best podcast. You heard that right. The Pacific Revision. We are not canceled. We are not going anywhere. We're back from hiatus. A lot of things happened, but I am back as one of your hosts, Miguel. Hi, hello, how are you? Alongside me and returning is Eric. Say hello, Eric.
Adrenaline in my soul. Something. This podcast's back.
So, since we've been gone, we're not gonna go into too much detail of the past because the past is the past, and I'm here to talk about the future.
The past is the past.
Since we've been gone, Eric got married.
Bam!
I don't think we've recorded since, so congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a great wedding, so much fun.
Happy you were there.
I was happy to be there. It was a blast. Great weekend. Had so much fun. Eric also went to Wrestlemaia.
I did.
And got to witness Cody Rhodes not finish the story.
Fun fact, Miguel. Story's still going.
Yeah. Story is still going. So.
Son of a bitch.
I know. They made the wrong call because no.
What are you talking about? What do you mean call? Cody just lost a fight. What are you talking about, call?
No matter what, and they can prove me wrong. I don't think you'll ever build up this momentum for anybody.
Are we talking wrestling right now? Are we doing a wrestling podcast within this hockey podcast?
Just for 2 minutes. For 2 minutes. They missed the ball. I can't see them building anyone else. Even if Cody does end up beating him, I can't see it being built up to this moment. You know what I mean?
Oh, it felt great to be there, Miguel. Really thought. Look, the only reason I went. Okay, no, there's two reasons I went. One, this is a bucket list item for myself. I've always wanted to go to WrestleMania. Hello, WrestleMania in my own backyard. It was great. I left. I only went to night 2 because I couldn't trick myself into being like, let's spend a ton of money on 2 nights of wrestling. So I was like, you know what?
Night 1 was like.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Probably that was one of the best pay-per-views ever.
Yeah, probably better than night 2 easily. But the main event, that's all I cared about. Like heavily cared about. Like the triple threat IC title, sure. Cool, big dudes slapping each other. Who doesn't love that?
Oh, that was amazing.
But I cared about 2 people, Miguel. 2 people. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Don't you put those down. You put that one down. And
that match was amazing. Up until the last like 3 minutes.
No, the entire match was great. I actually rewatched it yesterday. Because I needed that high again, Miguel. I needed a feel.
So because Cody lost, I'm okay with the interference. If Cody would have won, I think it should have been a clean 1v1, no interference. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's later. Just build something else. I always had. I remember I talked to someone at work about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, Cody's gonna take it right." I'm like, well, I don't know about that. Roman's close to 1,000 days as being champion. Like you could still do some drama with the bloodlines, even though they lost. Like the tag titles were gonna change hands. Like Sammy and Kevin had to have their moment, and the bloodline needs an L, and this is a way to give them an L. Now, do we get to see that kind of like interesting dynamics of the inner workings of the bloodline and how the relationships all of a sudden change a little bit now that Roman retained? Solo was the guy who kind of put him over the edge.
So
the Usos did stuff, but like at the end of the day, like they let Sammy and Kevin get the upper hand again.
Yeah.
So that's where the interest is.
To me, after WrestleMania, I was in Great Depression. The Great Depression.
You were depressed.
I know, and I wasn't even there. If I would have gone and put myself into even more debt than I already have, I would have been absolutely furious. But at first, I'm like, this is the worst mistake. You're fucking idiots. But after some thinking, I'm like, I still don't agree with it, but I get where they're going. They're doing, instead of the bloodline losing all gold, it's going to be the slow burn of the ascension, the destruction of the bloodline, where we already saw it, where the Roman had Paul Heyman turn away the Usos on Monday.
Yeah.
By lying to them, saying he wasn't there.
But yeah,
So
this might be the last. Like WrestleMania might have been the last time we saw the Bloodline together as a whole.
Oh, I agree.
And as more time progresses, more and more of them kind of start, losing until Roman has to fight by himself.
And that's why he loses the title.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is well, as the kids would say, long-term storytelling.
Yeah, the only problem is that people aren't happy that this story's been going on for 3 years, at least for
in the long run. Cody's gonna be right where he says first the Usos realize Roman's not good to them, then Solo, and then the wise man in the end will leave him.
But let me do a counterpoint, Miguel. Let me tell you why I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
With the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania, and it's because of this shirt. I bought a shirt that says "Finish the story." Why did I buy this shirt if the story isn't finished? Why? I fell for it. I got caught by capitalism.
Like, honestly, the way they built it up, Cody's promos and that shirt and that merchandising, the finish the story, I'm like, there's no way WWE does all this and not have Cody finish the story.
Why did I buy the shirt? Why did I buy the shirt?
He did not finish the story.
Actually, 2A on that one, Miguel. Why did I buy you the same shirt?
Because you're a good friend.
God damn it. The story's not... I need to, alter the shirt. Add some dots at the end of this or something. God damn it. They got me.
Either way.
One last thing as we transition into sports. Leaving SoFi Stadium at the end of WrestleMania. It's the closest to I don't want to see a real sports thing, but of the major four, have you seen a road game? Actually, no.
I been to a road game? No.
Hold on. Fuck it. It's a different question. You've been to many Golden Knights games.
Yes.
Losing to a rival, right? Losing to a Pacific Division rival, your Sharks, your Kings, your Oilers. And you're at home, surrounded by a bunch of fans, just like you. And your team, the home team loses. And you're walking away from the stadium, and every couple of people, maybe every 20, 25, 30 people, you'll hear an away fan talking just all sorts of smack as you're just angry. And I'm usually in the bleachers, Miguel. So up in the nosebleeds. So I got to ride the fucking escalator that takes forever to get there as these goddamn away fans are chirping your team as you lost at home. This is what it felt like when Cody Rhodes lost. It's the home team lost, and every once in a while, people in Bloodline merch talking shit how Cody couldn't do it, and how we had to acknowledge our tribal chief. It was amazing.
I've been there. It's rough, but
it was amazing.
Hockey.
Yes.
This is a Pacific revision. I'm gonna quickly go over one or two news things before I get into what I want to talk about.
All right.
We're not even gonna talk about our teams yet. Normally we talk about our teams first. We're not even gonna talk about that yet. First thing, Kelmakar is out indefinitely.
Wait, is he?
Yes.
Oof.
There is no timetable for his return.
Did they say out for the rest of the season at all, or is it just ambiguous language?
They just said out indefinitely.
Ugh. By the way, he was out for a lot of my fantasy year, which kind of ruined me. That is
lower body injury, out indefinitely.
Okay, so it's different than the injuries he was battling throughout the year because he's had a lot of concussion issues. He initially got his first concussion in January, I believe. Tried to play a little bit, then was out for a couple weeks, then came back. So at least it's not a head thing again. Because then you're looking at 3 concussion issues within, a couple months, and you do not want that. That being said, Miguel, fun fact, you need your lower body to play hockey. And if he's out for an extended period of time, the Avalanche are good enough to win maybe 1 round. Maybe 2 without one of their best players. But you kind of need everybody to be there. And maybe that buys him enough time. Because again, if you have no timetable, each round of the playoffs takes 2 weeks, so you have another month and a half.
let's just say this. Last year, if Makar wasn't playing, they would not have won. That
I mean, he literally won the MVP for the playoffs. He won the Conn Smythe.
Confident in saying that. Makar was phenomenal, and the main reason they won last year.
Oh, he outplayed McDavid and Draisaitl in that series against the Oilers in the conference final. So he is important to them, and the fact that, man, it's crazy that Colorado has a shot to win the division given all the injuries and how they started this year. But winning the division all of a sudden gets a lot more important for the Avalanche, because I think at full strength, it doesn't matter where they're seated. Missing their guys yet. And we haven't seen Gabriel Landeskog at all this year, who's been out since the final last year. It's gonna be tough. I think a lot of this stuff at this time of the year is just stay as healthy as possible and make it to the playoffs.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can take that from experience myself as a Kings fan. Like,
so
depending on who you are, seeding doesn't matter, but I think it matters now for the Avalanche without Makar.
The other big news, semi-big news. Well, I mean, take it how you want it. The Edmonton Oilers have, was it 3 or 4 100-point players?
3,
I think 3.
It's McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins,
yeah. Which, sure, I don't know. I'm not scared of the Oilers. I might be biting myself in the ass because I want the Oilers in the first round, but I'm not.
We'll get into that. I'm not.
It's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Oh, the Oilers can score. Big deal. I get it. They're good offensively. Who cares?
So with 7 days, there is 7 from uploading of this podcast, not recording, from when this podcast uploads. There are 7 days in the season left. Okay. 7 days, Eric, and we're going to talk about playoffs right now, specifically for our team.
Playoffs.
But before we get too much into it, we're not going to talk predictions. You'll see. But before we get into that, I want to know who is getting these last 4 wild card spots. The top 3 in every division are locked in, but the wild cards, all 4 wild card spots, are still up for grabs.
Let me get me old standings. I think okay, let's start with the West since we know it best.
Yes.
Also, the best is in the West. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Seattle's locked in. They have 94 points. They are 5 points ahead of.
They're not getting pushed out.
No.
But that second spot, man.
3 teams. You have the Winnipeg Jets, Calgary Flames, and Nashville Predators. Talk about a race that no one wants to win. They have all been terrible. They have all been not great.
Remember when Winnipeg was first?
Yeah, they've sucked ass in the second half. Like it's oof. Rick Bowness is not happy. He's basically called them soft. And I don't know. Winnipeg continues to be interesting because they are, in my opinion, they've outdone themselves this year considering what they had going forward. But considering where they were at the beginning of the year, now it's become a massive disappointment with who they have and all that stuff. So I don't know. I would like Calgary to take the final spot because then I'm correct about having 5 Pacific teams in and only 3 Central. And I love being correct. I need a win. But man, they're both terrible. I think Nashville is too far back. I just don't believe in them. They're fine. Like I just don't think they have enough. They have a game in hand on Winnipeg, 2 games in hand on the Flames with 3 points back. Was only a couple games left. That's not a lot.
I'm gonna go on the limb and say Predators get their last spot.
Nah. That's honestly like they're all bad options. Honestly, you should ask yourself as Vegas is gonna win the Pacific, because I do think that's happening.
They're not.
Who would you want to? But I'm saying as a Knights fan, out of those 3, who would you want to see?
Winnipeg, Calgary, and Nashville.
Yeah, they're all like equal booty to me.
Winnipeg, because historically we have matched up better against them. Calgary, although we've beaten the shit out of Calgary, those are, I want to say, most of those wins we have over Calgary are in overtime. I think like it's an absurd amount of wins are in overtime. Like those games are always high scoring, just exchange chances, and Vegas always just barely comes up the victor. But and Nashville, uh, I want to say historically they're pretty even. It's just Nashville has goalie does hard sometimes.
Yeah, usually Sorrow's good. Like that's the
And
principle
because
for
I
me.
think Winnipeg has the best goaltender of the three, but somehow Hellebuck hasn't not been an issue for Vegas historically,
Yeah,
despite how good
but
he is.
he's that guy that can turn it on for the playoffs though. That's what I'd be scared of.
For sure.
Remember like last season when Calgary and Dallas played in round one, and the rest of Dallas wasn't that great, but Jake Ottinger stood on his head. Like Hellebuck is good enough to do that also. So that's what I'd be afraid of. Calgary, you're looking at a hard hitting, maybe long series, but definitely at least hard hitting in the first two games.
That's the thing with Calgary. I think they would wear Vegas down. Like Vegas would get past them, but they would wear down the fuck out of Vegas.
Yeah, it'd be a tough 5 or 6 game series maybe if I had to make a prediction, but I think the 2 spots in the West, I think it goes to Seattle for sure. And
I think Seattle's gonna clinch today, I believe.
Yeah, and I think the last spot goes to Calgary.
I forgot what results Seattle needs.
Probably just a loss or a win or a point or something like that.
I think if Seattle gets a point and they're playing Arizona.
Yeah, if I do my math correctly, let's see, 3 games left, they can get to 90. So they just need to get to 95. Yeah, and they're in. So point?
They're clinching tonight. So Seattle's in.
I think it's Calgary. I just think
Winnipeg
is free falling. I think free falling.
Nashville.
All right.
Now let's take it over to the East Coast. Currently, Florida, 78 games played, 87 points. Islanders, 78 games, 87 points. Pittsburgh, 78 games, 86 points. Buffalo, 76 games.
All right, you're nice.
Points.
You're nice to include Buffalo, but they're eliminated. They're not making a run.
I mean,
I know they have games in hand, but it's not happening.
I mean, they're up 6-5 right now against Detroit, which is not great against Detroit
now
at the moment. But.
I just don't think they have enough. Like Buffalo's out. Jump over like 3 or 4 teams. Like it's not happening.
Buffalo's out. Vegas 1-0. But as far as who's gonna make the playoffs and the wild cards, I want to say it's crazy. That's so close, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and say, without even looking at the strength of schedule, I'm gonna say Pittsburgh gets out.
Yeah, I agree. It's Florida and the Islanders. Whatever we have now currently is what's going to go in. The Panthers and Isles are in right now. They're going to be in. Mostly because I would love to see a Boston Islanders first round series. Because talk about the team that could knock out the best team in the league.
I agree.
The Islanders play, just boring, grinding hockey. And Ilya Sorokin probably is going to get a Vezina nomination. The award for best goalie, so he's been lights out. Barzal's back. Him and Horvat get to play together again more than one game. So the Islanders are that kind of team that you do not want to see in the playoffs, and it'd be hilarious if history repeats itself and we get another history, record-setting regular season team go out in the first round again. But I think I want to see that first round between Boston and the Islanders, and I think the Panthers are hot enough at the end here with Matthew Tkachuk basically dragging his team in since his father said they were soft like a week or 2 ago. So I think they both get in, and I get to be right, Miguel, about the old Florida Panthers making the playoffs. Do you feel any regret on that? Do you feel regret on doubting the Florida Panthers after winning the President's Trophy?
I mean, I was close to being right, but then Buffalo dropped the ball.
That's your fault have you not paid attention to Buffalo sports for the past ever?
Oh, I mean, I know because I called their entire season.
Yeah, so come on, that's on you right there. That's on you. But congratulations, the Florida Panthers will be interesting. I think they're out in the first round though, but at least they get to salvage something after kind of going all in. They wasted a shit ton of draft capital these past 2 years, and it's amazing that both Calgary and Florida had that big trade, and we're both talking about them barely making the playoffs after that big Kachuk, Huberdeau, Uyghur trade. So it'll be.
I mean, let's be honest. Florida struggles have been not having the Barkinator for like half the season.
That, and I think they're missing Uyghur on defense. I don't think their defense was as deep as they thought it was going in with like
probably
Ekblad
but
and
man, not having
and stuff like that. So
for like half the season.
Hey, Miguel, having your best player around usually is pretty good for you.
I agree. We miss you, Mark Stone.
Yeah. Is he coming back? What's wrong with Mark Stone?
So okay, so the main subject, the meat of this podcast is going to be playoffs and just LA and Vegas have been doing lately. How they've been doing lately. We're gonna talk about our teams.
Okay.
Mark Stone.
Who?
So there's a long list of injuries for Golden Knights, and I'll start with the injuries then. Mark Stone out.
Hold on, can we go through them like one by one, and then I want to ask you something about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first up, Mark Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Back injury, apparently, and will need surgery, but apparently it is not the same part of his back as because he got surgery last year, which took him out for the year. Apparently, different part of the back. Back, Eric, pretty long, so there's multiple parts you can injure.
Yeah.
Can return. They pretty much haven't put a timetable, but they've alluded to if Mark Stone were to come back, it will be in the second round if Vegas gets to the second round.
Interesting.
Yeah, but personally, let's say Vegas does get to the second round. I personally wouldn't risk throwing in someone that hasn't played hockey in 3 months. And I get it. It's our captain. He's amazing. But man, he has not played in 3 months. And you expect him to match the speed of Edmonton, who most likely will be in the second round.
All right. All right.
There's not a disrespect to you. It is. Because I don't think you're playing Edmonton in the first round, but we'll get to that.
Well, all right.
Let's just say, again, even if it's LA, even if he comes back to LA, like Mark hasn't played in 3 months, he's not going to have the same cardio. You know what I mean? He's not going to have the speed. And not that he's a fast player, but like, I don't know if I would risk putting him. I maybe throw him in one game. And if we lose, even if it's not his fault, take him back out unless he did look amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's risky. Next up, William Carrier.
Mild Bill.
Out for the season. He will not come back. Which you're like, he's a fourth liner. Who fucking cares? But this year, the fourth line is actually a big reason where Vegas is still where they're at without Mark Stone. If you look at Vegas' scoring, it's very spread out. It's not one or two players carrying the Vegas Golden Knights. It's scoring by committee. We're getting scoring up and down the lines, and Carrier was a big part of that. And the fourth line has been a lot more quieter since he's been injured. So he's out pretty much for the season. They haven't officially stated it, but they pretty much said, like...
I was just about to ask. I don't think he's on LTIR.
He's not, and I don't know why, but...
That's probably some sort of... It's probably some sort of cap thing where you have to, like... The closer you are to the ceiling, the more money you save, or...
Probably, I don't know. That's the one thing I do like about Bruce Cassidy compared to former coaches for the Golden Knights. Is he's honest. He does not lie. He does not even say, I don't know. If you ask him something, he answers it. Which is, I think, great because...
After the gaslighting of Pete DeBoer last year?
Yeah, I just... Even Gallant, same thing. Like they wouldn't answer nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know
last year.
And I don't know if because they didn't know. No, obviously they knew no stuff. I don't know if the offices told him not to say nothing. I don't know. But Bruce Cassidy is very honest. And when they ask him, he speaks with honesty and he gives us actual answers, and I like that. So he pretty much alluded to Carrier. He's like, oh, like yes, he's been checked out. He's probably done, but who knows? But it's pretty much he's done. He is done for the season.
Is that everything for you?
Shea Theodore. Shea Theodore should be back by game 1 of the playoffs. Bruce Cassidy essentially said he will need surgery, but he should be able to play. So
They're also
he's
not saying much because like most players need surgery at the end of the year.
True. Clearly, Shea Theodore will play and will play it injured. Logan Thompson, same thing. Needs surgery, but can wait until the offseason. He started skating today in all gear. So he was out for a month and a half. He came back and he got injured in the third period. Again, I forgot against who. And went right back out. He looked amazing that game. And then to get injured. But he skated today, full gear. But did not
shout out to Vegas carrying 4 goaltenders on the roster.
Yeah, right.
That's
so
amazing.
Him, Logan Thompson, and Aiden Hill, who also injured. Aiden Hills also skated today with Logan Thompson, but they did not skate with the team. I don't expect Aiden Hill to be play at all anymore. But at this point, there's no point in sending him down. There's no, you know what I mean? Just
put him through waivers for no reason.
Yeah, they're gonna just carry him because they have the cap space for it. And
they're gonna carry him.
The way we're going through people, might as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why not?
And that's all. I think that's it for injuries that matter.
All right, let me. I got 3 questions for you on your little conversation here. Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? That's all I want. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, 2 thumbs up.
Follow-up question. Is it a coincidence that Boston is having their best season of all time? A historic NHL pace the first year he's gone.
So, it's funny that you say this. There's somebody else
is it coincidence
that brought this up to me. Here's my opinion on it. I believe whether it's Bruce Cassidy or Boston together, I think when he left, they left a great foundation. So that's why they're able to succeed with new coaches and
so is Bruce Cassidy a beneficiary of a decent foundation?
No. So before I get to that part, let me finish the first question. Plus, Boston has been getting some amazing goaltending this year. Amazing goaltending. And at the end of the day, you'll win as much as your goaltender will allow you to, unless you're Edmonton. But where goaltending doesn't matter.
No, because you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Exactly. Where Vegas, look, Bruce was essentially, in a lot of ways, in the same position as Pete DeBoer. And Pete DeBoer couldn't get this team into the playoffs. That was without a Mark Stone. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a lot more other issues throughout the year, but
had the whole Leonard injuries and controversy. So yes, I'm sure would hurt the locker room, the whole Leonard situation last year. But he couldn't get that where they needed wins. He couldn't find those wins. On the other end, Bruce Cassidy is, for now, sitting number 1 in the Western Conference. And
Pete DeBoer is number 1 in the Central. So I mean, let's not.
No, I know. And what's it called? Bruce Cassidy had less Mark Stone this year than DeBoer did last year. So I mean, it's good for Boston, good for Pete DeBoer. You know what I mean? They both found success a year later. And I'll say this. Without injuries, I'm not saying Vegas is breaking records, but Vegas would be number 2 in the entire league if no injuries. They'd be right on Boston's heels. I don't think they would have gone on the crazy run that Boston did, but you got to remember, in the first 25 games, Boston and Vegas were neck and neck. and then injuries hit Vegas. You know what I mean?
I mean, sure.
So again, I just think it's the foundation that Bruce Cassidy and his assistant coach and everyone that was in that organization laid to lead a successful following years for Boston, as long as they maintain their core. And then now Bruce Cassidy was able to come to Vegas with a good team and bring them up from where they were last year. That's where I think.
So Bruce Cassidy bum, Jim Montgomery good. Good job, Boston. Made the right choice. Kicking this bum off to the curb.
But then again, I don't know if Boston would have this success with Bruce Cassidy if
no, they hate it. That
I was
bridge was
if
burnt.
the rumors of the dislike and the losing the locker room were true, then Bruce Cassidy wouldn't have had this success in Boston.
No, they hated each other. I don't think a lot of stuff happens if Bruce Cassidy sticks around. Like Jake DeBrusque still being there and having a great year.
I just think
David Krejci. Like, is it a coincidence David Krejci went away and then came back as soon as Bruce Cassidy was let go? I don't think so.
I just think whether you agree with it or not, Cassidy calls out their players that are not performing.
Yeah.
And that is what rubbed players in Boston wrong. And I'm sure that has rubbed some players in Vegas wrong because he has called players in post-conference. He has called them out. And I don't think he does them in a shitty way like Tortorella does, but it's more like constructive criticism.
As long as you're winning, it's good.
True.
Because
Boston was winning last year, but it still wasn't good.
Yeah, but they weren't like... Boston has a higher bar. You know, they're the championship caliber. I think they haven't been there since they reached the final in 2019. That is correct. So, like, the bar's different. Like, if you keep winning, fuck it. I don't really care. Like Daryl Sutter. He's a hard ass, you know, criticize players through the media. Hey, you won 2 cups, but as soon as the Kings started missing the playoffs and as soon as they started losing in the first round, guess what? That shit don't fly. No one likes it. You know?
Yeah.
No one likes to be told they suck and not helped out and coach properly when they're losing. So
of course, definitely.
It's all good.
But yeah, despite the injuries, Vegas has been able to get wins. Jack Eichel has been much better this season. He is not the crazy goal scorer I thought he was going to be this year, but he's been great. I mean, the problem is without Mark Stone, it's a little tougher because it's him, Marchessault, and for the longest, it was Barbashev on the line. And unfortunately, Barbashev, while good, he's very good and very responsible. It is clear he is not at the skill level of Jack Eichel and Marchessault.
But he's never been much of a goal scorer. Like, he can get points, but
Jack Eichel will make these stupid, good, ridiculous passes, and Barbashev just can't seem to handle them sometimes. Or can't seem to put them away when Jack Eichel's able to pull 2 defensemen in. But, I mean, like you said, Barbashev has never been a goal scorer, but he's very responsible. So, I like Barbashev.
He hits.
He's not gonna hurt your team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, now, LA, you too have been hit with the injury bug.
Yeah. I mean, that was the theme last season. Limped into the playoffs, more or less. Had a crazy scenario where our 6 defensemen, 5 out of those 6 from opening night got hurt, and were all replaced by like AHL guys or waiver pickups. Avoided that for most of the year. Now, the Kings did go on a franchise setting, 12-game point streak, and then went on the road to play Calgary and Edmonton, and in both those games came away with less players than you want. Kevin Fiala got hurt in the Calgary game. Didn't play against Edmonton. Mikey Anderson got hurt in the Edmonton game. Edler's been in and out of the lineup. Gabriel Bellardi didn't make the road trip most recently, so hasn't played in the last 4 games. The depth is taking a hit, and Fiala and Velarde's our top goal scorer for the year. Fiala's our top point getter in the year, and you've kind of seen the impact of that. They lost 2 games recently against Edmonton, which basically it set the division for us. Like, I think that's it. That's a wrap. I don't think we're gonna win the division. We had a decent chance after the point streak.
You guys did have a really good chance. But
yeah, the rest of the Pacific's been good. So like, it is what it is. Like, it sucks when you go on a winning streak that everyone else does is also.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Like,
I mean, we joke about this every time Kings lose, Vegas loses. Every time LA won, Vegas won.
Yeah, and like the good luck hasn't really been there for LA a little bit on the other games. Like, there was a 3-point game between Vegas and Edmonton, which didn't help anything. The division's out of the question. I don't think we make it.
It's not impossible.
It's not, but like I also don't care anymore. Yeah. Once the injuries started happening, you're like, all right, I would rather we be healthy than win the division fucking just destroyed of people, you know?
Yeah.
We played Edmonton twice, so I'm already picturing us playing Edmonton in the first round. And I know the Kings and the Knights play today, so it'll be an interesting,
real quick, since we're on that.
Sure.
I think it's funny. In my eyes, you correct me if I'm wrong. In some ways, I feel like this LA versus Knights game is huge for Vegas, but not so much for LA. And I mean that because Vegas needs to win if they're going to win the division. They absolutely need to win this game. It's a must win, in my opinion. But Kings are pretty much locked in where they're at. They can still get home advantage, but it's gonna be tough. It is gonna be tough.
Yeah, like, we could overtake Edmonton, and
the problem is
get home ice.
Edmonton's last 3 games.
I know they're cupcakes. It's an easy fucking walk for them.
It is 2 games against San Jose.
Yeah, they played Anaheim yesterday, so.
Which San Jose is not winning either of those games. Not at the end of the season. Not when they want to get Connor Bedard. And Colorado Avalanche, who might just want to rest their players and avoid getting any more injuries.
Only 2 points up on Dallas, and like I said earlier, if you're not gonna have Kale McCarr for a while, getting the division crown is gonna help them with at least the competition. Because would you rather play Seattle, which will be a tough, because Seattle's really good at shot suppression, at limiting those chances, playing defensively. But would you rather play them or like Minnesota?
So that's the first
round? I don't know.
So Oilers at worst are picking up 4 more points. At worst.
Yeah.
Which puts them at 107, which means LA would have to win their last 3 games, which is also possible. Yeah, you got a tough game tonight in Vegas, but then you got Vancouver,
Colorado, and Anaheim.
Same thing. 2 cakewalks and Colorado. Tough game.
Yeah. Kings actually been playing Colorado well this year, which is surprising. Again, also Colorado hasn't had everybody. Although the last time we played, they did have everybody back except for, like we said, Gabriel Landeskog, who hasn't played all year. And they beat him well. I thought they played great. Defense was good. Forechecking was good. But the Kings were healthy, and they aren't now. Yeah, like, as soon as we lost to Edmonton, and honestly, the 2 games we played against Edmonton, I don't feel demoralized. I don't feel like Edmonton is that much better. And I might regret to say that. Like, I understand they have Connor McDavid, they have Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, like you said, Nugent Hopkins, who also scored 100 points. But let me just take the last game into example. It was a 2-1 game, 3-1 with the empty net, whatever. We beat them 5-on-5. I thought 5-on-5, the Kings were a pretty good team. We lost in special teams. 2 power play goals.
I feel the same way of when Vegas lost to Edmonton, is we lost the game in special teams.
And Edmonton has a fucking 34% conversion rate on the power play.
It is literally, on paper, historically the best power play ever.
Yes.
If it stays at 34, 33, will be considered the best power play since they started keeping track of that stat.
But that being said,
fucking ridiculous.
It is. if we play Edmonton in the first round, it comes back to basically the same thing we did last year. Be perfect. You can't make any mistakes. You can't let anything happen. The game in Edmonton, they bit themselves in the ass. It was a 0-0 close game up until they made a mistake on the power play and gave McDavid a shorthanded goal, which ended up being the game winner, and we lost 2-0. And like, it's like small stuff like that, but it makes a huge difference if you're going to play tight.
Problem is Edmonton is number 3 at getting power plays this year.
Yeah. And
they
that
are
might
a power play getting machine, and it's mainly because of McDavid. And
that might change in the playoffs. You know, they might limit the whistles a little bit. You know, the refs like to keep everything even. But if there is a demoralizing thing, it's that the scoring has not been there for LA since Velarde and since Fiala went out. And Fiala missed both games against Edmonton, and we saw it last year. Arvidsson was out for the entire series. Doughty didn't play in that series. It's going to be tough, but I like the attitude that they have about next man up. And as we head into the year, like at the end of this season, next man up. We got to figure out what this Kings team is for the next 2 weeks, and we'll see how they get there. Tonight will be interesting. It's a good test.
You know what's crazy?
What happened?
Edmonton almost has 100 more power plays than Vegas this year.
Yeah, like
Vegas has the least amount of power plays, but they also have the least penalized team.
Yeah,
too.
If you take a lot of penalties, you get a lot of power plays, which is, I guess, a decent strategy because the NHL referees love to even everything out. Like, it's crazy. So it's crazy that year after year, if you look at both teams, penalties taken and penalties served out, even. Basically even 1-1. So for them, yeah, it benefits them to take a lot of penalties because who's going to stop them on the other end? Very rarely. But we'll see. Like, it'll be tough. Like these last 4 games, like I just need the playoffs to be here. And I need some good news because, hockey and fucking injury reports. All they said about Velarde, and it's been a couple reports that they don't know when he's going to come back. But no news. He's just listed day to day. He's not an IR, just day to day. Same thing with Kevin Fiala. No news, and that's day to day.
And that's the other thing with also Edmonton. They really have not been hit with injuries.
No. Well, Evander Kane.
Outside of Kane's cut, which is a freak accident, it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really have not been set back. They really haven't been hurt. They've been relatively healthy. It's like Calgary last year, where
Stuart
Calgary
Skinner has been playing great since they signed Jack Campbell, and he wasn't great as soon as he got there. So big ups to Stuart Skinner for taking that starting job away from Jack Campbell. But they're a tremendous team. They have a high-powered offensive upside with all those weapons, but the bottom 6 is... I look at the bottom 6, and I'm not that impressed. And sometimes in the playoffs, I know McDavid and Draisaitl, insane pace last year in the playoffs. Insane. But eventually you're going to need some depth to kind of step up, and we'll see if they get that. And last year they did. I'll never forget the game-winning goal for Game 6 to avoid elimination, Tyson Barrie. So you never know. You never know what kind of help you're going to get, especially once you get in those situations.
So, yes, like I said, with the season coming to an end, personally, I do believe Edmonton will take the division just because Vegas, to finish off the season, has LA, Dallas, and then 2 Seattle games, which now that we're getting closer, I'm like, okay, before we're like, man, Seattle might be fighting for their lives. So these are going to be tough games, but now they're pretty much settled in. So I hope those are not difficult games, but I mean, we'll see. Like, it's that weird thing where towards the end of the season, obviously you want to rest your players, but you also want to be playing your best hockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, being hot, like you can't undersell that. Like, and being in, for the most part, being in these type of fights is a good thing because it kind of keeps your team fresh, at least from the mental aspect of things. Body wise, God, you just hope no one gets hurt. But
I mean, it's like the whole the President's Trophy curse. It's not a President's Trophy curse. It's because that team that wins the President's Trophy was so hot for so long that the last few games of the season are a bit meaningless. So they're kind of,
Yeah, but I do like what Boston's doing. They locked it up a long time ago, but they have not rested their players at all.
I agree. But usually teams will rest their players. And so then they'll play the worst team. But guess what? That worst team is fighting, clawing, doing everything to get in. And so they're hot when they get in. So when they come against a team that's cooled off, that's been chilling, that's been relaxed, it's not an upset. It's just, it's hard to turn it back on when you haven't had to in a while.
Yeah.
But you're right. Boston has not let go of the gas pedal. But I think that's what often happens. Or that, I think in a good way in the Pacific, there's no letting off the gas pedal.
Like, not right now.
It's going to be a fight until the very last game of the season.
As much as I would be like, please lose all your remaining games, but get healthy. That's not the reality of it. The Kings are still going to go out and try to win these games. Vegas still needs to go out there and try to win these games. Edmonton is definitely going to go out and still try to win these games. That's where it gets interesting. Because, yeah, like it... I know I've been looking to Edmonton already, but this could be a playoffs preview tonight.
So that's what I was going to ask you.
It's a big game.
Tonight, Vegas, LA.
Yeah.
It could be a preview. So I got to imagine both these teams are coming out swinging, right?
Oh, don't be surprised if this gets chippy within the second period.
Like, Quick is not playing.
Surprising.
So we haven't really talked about this, and I'll talk about it quickly. Yeah. Quick comes in.
Quickly.
I did not mean, no pun was intended. Quick comes in, wins his first 3 games with Vegas. People are like, Quick revenge.
Revenge tour.
Quick is going to eliminate LA. Quick has been quick in Vegas the same way he was in LA.
Not to start off.
The only difference is Vegas is scoring more than LA was when Quick was having bad games. Because Quick has not given up less than 3 goals a game for Vegas.
See, the problem when he was playing for us, he was giving up 4 goals.
Okay, well, he's giving up 1 less. He has given up a minimum of 3 goals every game. Yeah. It's just Vegas has won most of those because they've scored 4 or 5 in most of those games. Except twice once they lost 7-2 or 7-4 to Edmonton, which Quick was playing. And I forgot the other loss was. I think it was 4-3.
The more time the trade has gone by, the more okay, I'm not okay with it, but the more accepting I've been of it. And the point of view that I got, and I forget where I heard it from. It could have been All the Kingsmen podcast, could have been Locked On LA Kings, all great Kings-based shows. But the thing that was said was, should you be mad that Jonathan Quick got traded? Yes. Should you also be mad that Jonathan Quick and his play allowed this to happen? Absolutely. He became a non-option for us. Like, just the type of goals he was letting in. Remember how we talked about Mike Smith? It's not how many you let in, but when you let those in and what state the game is in. That's what happened.
And you know what's crazy about Quick?
And it happened all year. So this wasn't just like after like 1 or 2 weeks. It happened multiple times a year this season, I should say, multiple times this season. And as upset as I am about the trade, and I'm still upset, it still fucking looks wrong. I hate it. I hate looking at it. It was necessary because look at Korpisalo. It's fucking worked out. Look at Gavrikov. It's fucking worked out. I can't be mad at the results.
So, the funny thing is, most of the goals Quick has let up for Vegas has been in the third period. I don't know what happens. He has a hot first and second, and then just collapses in the third. But so he's not playing today against LA, and obviously Laurent Brossoit has outplayed him. But also, and I mean, we'll never get confirmation on this, but according to insiders, It's Quick also asked to not play against LA.
Interesting.
Yeah, supposedly it's too emotional. Did not want to play against his former team. That is the word around Vegas. Is that aside from even, I still don't think he would have been chosen, or maybe they would have just for like the publicity of it. But the word, I mean, Laurent Bresson's outplayed him, and the word is Quick asked not to play LA, which I think practically rules out Quick versus LA in the playoffs unless injuries.
I mean, I would rule out Quick playing in the playoffs if Logan Thompson can be there. He's the guy.
Oh, I agree, but
Logan Thompson's
man,
your one.
the fact that Logan Thompson needs surgery and is still going to play,
I think you do that thing you said with Mark Stone, Miguel. I think you do that thing you said with Mark Stone. Game one, and then you figure it out.
I mean, I'll say this, and a lot of people have said this around Vegas, and Sim Ben has said it on his podcast, and I totally agree. The goalies in Vegas are going to have a very short leash in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It's going to be like, you ever watch, oh, you're a Dodgers fan? The fucking Dave Roberts. Like, as soon as maybe a single happens, get him out of here.
Out of here.
Yeah. It might be such a short leash that like one bad goal and you'll never see this goalie ever again. Like after Logan Thompson, you can mix up Braswat, Hill, and Quick in any order that you want. It doesn't matter. I feel like they're all equal options. Like one might be a little bit better than the other because like Aiden Hill have a great year this year. Braswat has an up and down year. He did get hurt. He did play shitty in Henderson. He has come back now. Good. Quick played like shit. Been better in Vegas. Still has his issues, but he's good. So like out of those three, like you can just fucking whatever. And also in the playoffs,
I agree because
you can have all of them.
I'll say this. This whole entire season, all 78 games so far, I would say a goalie has stolen us a game maybe 2, maybe 3 times this season. I don't really ever recall. Once was Logan Thompson. I know for a fact. And another time was Aiden Hill, where I was like, holy shit, if it wasn't for their performance, we would have lost that game. It is mainly just the offense and the defense outplaying the other team. But most of very few times have I said, oh, the goalie. And so not talking shit against Vegas goalies, but like you said, it's pretty much outside of Logan, you can pretty much throw any of them in and you're almost going to get the same result.
It is a good old case of don't fuck it up.
Pretty much. Yeah, like you're going to get scored on, but Jesus, do not give up bad goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of in net, though, I don't know what LA is going to do. We're still.
Yeah, I mean, both your goalies have been decent.
It was Korpisalo was the first goalie to get 2 straight starts. They've been since Korpisalo got in LA. They've been one on, one off.
1-1, yeah.
With him and Phoenix Copley. He got the first game at Edmonton after playing against Calgary. We lost both those games. He gave up 2 goals each game, so it wasn't his offense dried up. Yeah. Copley played last game against Edmonton at home, which we lost. But again, he only gave up 2 power play goals, and he wasn't in net for the obvious empty netter. So he also played good. Korpisalo probably, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Phoenix Copley in net. But it'll be interesting. I don't know who's going in net today because the game for us starts nowish. So whoever's in there,
I hope they do a good job. I mean,
I'm assuming Korpisalo because Phoenix played last game, so
we're almost going to wrap this up.
I really like Jonas Korpisalo. It's worked out well.
I just have a few questions before we go.
What you got from me, buddy?
One, I mean, you already answered it, but I'll go straight up and ask it. Who do you want in the first round?
Who do I want? The Edmonton Oilers. I need revenge. Edmonton Oilers. Just like Cody Rhodes lost in his first matchup against Roman Reigns, we need revenge, baby. We need revenge against the guy who beat us.
Personally, this is not gonna happen. If I could choose who I wanted, this is not gonna happen because it's not really possible anymore. I would like Seattle. I think as far as matchups go, outside of one game in their history, Vegas has crushed Seattle.
Also, storyline wise, you love it.
Right? You know what I mean? But then if they beat us, I'd fucking kill myself. But like, I could take losses from some of these teams. I could not take a loss against Seattle.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
But that, like, if I could choose, but that's not gonna happen. So of the actual possibilities, like I said, I want Winnipeg just because stylistically we've just matched up well against them, and I hope I don't regret
also storyline wise, it's cool because they were the team you beat in the Western Conference final year one.
Yeah, year one.
So like that's neat.
Yeah,
that's neat. Like that's a fun fact. There's a little bit of story there for you. Yeah, I would like that.
2 more questions. What are you most looking forward to in the playoffs this year?
What am I most looking forward to?
To see, yeah.
Related to the Kings or not related to the Kings?
Related to the Kings. Like, what about the playoff? Like,
I would love to see this team healthy against fucking Edmonton, but the additions that the team has made since last year. So your Kevin Fiala, Gavrikov, Korpisalo, guys like that, and then the emergence of the young guys. So Quinton Byfield played in that first series last year against the Oilers. That was kind of his welcome to the NHL moment. Like, I'll never forget, there was a play where he had the puck and he just got clean stripped by McDavid, and you can see the game is at a different pace for him. You know what? I'm changing my answer. It's just Quinton Byfield. Because I think the emergence of him being like left wing one on that top line with Kopitar and Kempe is a great story. Especially with all this bust stuff after not being great his first like 2-ish, 3 years. Again, he was a 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid. He's 20 now. We sometimes forget about that with high draft picks. It's taken a long time. It's taken a long time, but he's having a great year. The points and the goals still aren't there, but the little things he's doing, the forechecking, the passing, the effort, the being in the right position, stuff like that, setting up players, has been great. So I would love to see Quinton Byfield on his second time around.
For me, it's one. I'm looking forward to ending the longest playoff drought in Vegas Golden Knights history.
Struggling.
But realistically,
you're just like
3 words.
You're just like the NBA Sacramento Kings, just ending the drought after a long pain. 3
words or 2, depending on how you consider the first word.
Okay.
Play off Jack. That's what I'm excited.
That is
I'm excited
2.
To see what he's gonna do.
Playoffs are 1 word, so it's 2 words, Miguel.
Okay.
3
words.
3 syllables, though.
3 syllables.
3 syllables,
2
though.
words. Playoff Jack. I'm excited to see. Are you a believer? Because there's people on both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a believer of players having a different level? Some players having a different level in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think we saw it last season with McDavid. I think we've seen it. Like, if you want to go through,
that
like,
another level though, because like,
yeah, because it's one thing to do it in the regular season against the Ducks. It's another thing to do it in the regular season against their biggest
Kings.
rivals. No, well, also the Kings, but their biggest rivals against Calgary. Like, this man broke Jacob Markstrom. Since that series, Jacob Markstrom hasn't been good.
He's been ass. He's been bad, yeah.
And if you want to take it to the Kings, that Game 7 goal to put them up 2-0 was Jonathan Quick on the ice face down. Was everyone in the Edmonton's like that's playoff Connor McDavid. Like, that was a signature play by him. He did everything on that play to basically seal it up for them. So I do believe there is a different level. And look, as much as I enjoyed shitting on Jack Eichel because he's now on a rival team. Like, this is good. You want to see good players in the playoffs.
Oh man, these last few games, Jack Eichel has been fucking great. This guy, it already feels like he stepped up another gear from earlier in the season, where at times it felt like Jack was coasting. And I get it. It's 82 fucking games. You know what I mean? Like, but he's all over the ice to the point where in the beginning he was a bit of a defensive liability. Man, this guy is forechecking. He is going back. You see the hustle in this man. He wants to fucking win. And I'm looking forward to seeing playoff Jack. I hope he's good.
I think it'll be a great story point. Like, to finally get to see him in the playoffs is going to be exciting.
And one last thing, because the game just started. and I know the answer because it's probably the same for us.
Mhm.
What is your thing that most concerns you going into the playoffs?
You want to say it at the same time? Health, maybe injuries.
Health, yeah, injuries. Yeah.
That's all.
Neither of our teams are healthy, and it sucks.
Since last week when they played Edmonton and Calgary back to back, and they lost Fiala. They lost Velarde before the trip. They lost Fiala Calgary game. They lost Mikey Anderson the game after. I haven't really cared about the results of the game. It's been agonizing, and I don't want to like. It's not hyperbole. Like I cared about the game we lost, the last game we lost against fucking the Oilers, because it's more annoying than anything. But Miguel, I've gotten to the point where you're sweating everything, every hit, and you just want good news. And not to say that these games don't matter, but they're not the ones that really matter.
What breaks my heart is I don't think Vegas will ever get to see the Stone Eichel Chandler playoff line
after not getting the Stone Eichel Pacioretty line.
Yeah, like a real what I mean. Even if Stone cuts back again, I have my doubts how healthy he's gonna be. Like I don't think we'll never get like a 100% or 90% Stone Eichel Stevenson line, which is he was like even if he comes back, I just don't see him being that at that level that Mark Stone was when he got hurt. I just hope that it's not a career-ending injury or something where it's gonna hurt him in his personal life in the long run.
Yeah.
Because also, back is a scary area.
Let me end this with a PSA, and then you can send it home, Miguel.
Yes.
I'm just gonna stare right at the camera for this one. Don't be an asshole. Like, don't be an asshole and wish for injuries on other people. Don't do it. I saw this a lot. I understand for both of us, both of our teams. My team, Mikey Anderson got hurt. The Oilers don't like Mikey Anderson playing.
I saw that Reddit thread. How shitty.
But good. I will say, good job by the Oilers and the admins quickly. Like, don't do that. And if you're a Kings fan, don't wish McDavid to be injured. Just because Mikey Anderson got hurt, don't do that. If we play Vegas today, don't wish ill on Jack Eichel on his neck. Don't be that guy. Don't do it. Be cool. This is a fucking game. Stop it. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, before we sign off, man, Oiler fan base, just the worst. I am on your bandwagon now.
But again,
I don't hate the Oilers team. I hate the Oiler fan base, man.
By the way, this is the thing I missed though about like my team being good after the 3 years where they were bad. It's because people care about you, and now people care about you because you're relevant again.
How can they remind me of the Padres? Like, how can you be so cocky? You haven't fucking done shit. You know what I mean?
Look, the Oilers fan base gets a good nudge from me because they do have Dan, and I love Dan.
That's great, Dan. Dan, he's great.
Dan left Twitter, and ever since he's left, I have a void in my heart. Now I gotta go bother him on Instagram.
It's funny that you say that because the other day I was like looking for his Twitter, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to Dan?
He probably did the correct thing and left that hellscape. So now I gotta go bother him on Instagram at the Analytics. So go say something nice.
Either way, you guys, next time we come back, I'm sure we're gonna talk all things playoffs because the bracket should be set next time we record. Because there's 7 days left, and on the next Friday there isn't really any important games. Because I looked it up.
Good job.
Either way, thank you guys so much for checking us out, each and every single one of you. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.
Goodbye.